Hello, thanks for joining me on the 6 p.m. primetime newscast in the English language on Canal, the International. My name is Gladys Mbodiba. Stay tuned for our major stories. A tornado that swept across the town of Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon has left several families in the Meta Quarters neighborhood in the open air. Their house roofs have been plucked off and electricity cables damaged. All these coupled with the lockdown that has left them uncomfortable. And the lifeless body of a bike rider in his 30s has been found at a farm early this morning that is behind the SOCIETE police station at the end of the neighborhood in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. Officials of the Yaoundé 1 Council have carried the corpse to the mortuary while investigations have opened. And several school owners in Douala, Cameroon's economic city, have defied government decision closing down their schools for operating illegally. The decision was made by the Ministry of Secondary Education few weeks before the new school year started. These were our major stories. Stay tuned for developments. Hello, thanks for joining us once again. You're watching the Primetime Newscast in the English language. We begin with this story from the nation's capital, Yaoundé. The lifeless body of a man in his 30s were found in a farm behind the SOCIETE police station in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, precisely at the edge of the neighborhood, stabbed deeply by his supposed assassin, who left without taking anything from the victim. Officials of the Yaoundé 1 Council have taken the corpse to the mortuary in the nation's capital, and investigations have been opened by the police. The details with Beatrice Gamo.
The population behind the SOCIETE police station at the neighborhood woke up with the mortal remain of a young bike rider in a nearby farm. Forensic pathologist findings at the scene reveals a 10-centimeter deep stab behind his neck. His cry for help was at around 2 a.m. this Friday morning. The neighbors heard the guys shouting, "Please help, help, do not kill me, do not kill me." One brave guy came out, and that is how the thieves took to their heroes. Leaving without taking the bikes, nor money, nor telephone, they ran. The neighbors all round heard his wail. Apart from the one brave person, no one could dare their heads outside. The reason being that the area is very risky, late at night or in the wee hours of the morning. It's a complicated and dangerous neighborhood. If it is not theft, it is assault every time. And it is not up to 1 week after someone was robbed. Luckily enough, he was identified by some 4 family members as a bike rider residing at the Komto neighborhood in the outskirts of Yaoundé, tous, Obala. What and who must have taken the 30-year-old Iliaisu from Komto to Etude at that time of the morning? The fact that 2 bikes were found abandoned at the same place not far from the scene after the assassin left, a mosquito net also close by, and pair of slippers, issues the police are engaged to understand better with investigation that is on. The remains was then transported by the officials of the Yaoundé 1 Council to the mortuary.
And some families in the Meta Quarter neighborhood in Bamenda, in the northwest region of Cameroon, have been hanging in the open air since yesterday evening after a tornado swept across the town, plucking off their house roofs and destroying electricity cables. The current lockdown of the town has further compounded the repair works. More with Stephanie Chen.
If there is anything these people at the Metaquarter neighborhood in Bamenda 2 subdivision are praying for this Friday morning of September 16, it is for a day of calm weather as strong winds pulled down the roofs of their houses the previous evening.
The wind has damaged everything in the house. Damaged all the books that I have, damaged the dress of the children, and damaged nearly everything, even food. So, something that I don't know where we are going to start. So it's a very, thank God it didn't kill somebody.
The violent winds were accompanied by heavy rains that soaked their household belongings.
I just only look for a place where the children can sleep with the neighbor, but for me and my wife, we are still looking, we're still thinking, because we cannot really come out with a concrete idea now. It just happened, so, but we know that God takes care of his kind, so we will not spend the night outside, but obviously we will also spend the night in the house. We only hope that tomorrow we'll really get to know exactly what has actually happened.
Electricity lines and a car were also destroyed by the entire roof that flew across and landed about 20 meters away. Shortly after the incident, neighbors began light repair works in clearing the debris to render the quarter roads passable and also avoiding human casualties like electrocution from stray electric cables. Meanwhile, landlords have promised effective repair works only as from Saturday, as the incident occurred when Bamenda has been on a lockdown throughout the week.
And the lockdown imposed by separatist fighters in the southwest region of Cameroon has rendered or has caused a panic in that part of Cameroon and has rendered difficult back to school for some parents who are still preparing back to school for their children. They have taken the bull by the horn and say their children must go to school. Inya Sondombala with more.
It is a market day in Limbe. Parents who, due to the lack of financial resources, could not meet up with their children back to school are still dragging legs, doing their possible best to get school items for their kids, but prices in the local market continue skyrocketing. Fortunately for these parents, the Ministry of Commerce in the Southwest region is bent in fighting against the high cost of living.
I can say the price here is a bit lower than that of the market, because a kilo of meat in the market is 3,000 francs, while a kilo of meat here without bone is 2,800 francs, which is more preferable here than inside. Yeah, I would love for them to be coming because it's a bit helping us. Reducing the price for us is something that will reduce also our costs. If you are prepared to come and spend 5,000 francs in the market and you come there and reduce the price, you spend, let's just say 4,000 francs, go back 1,000 francs. That which will be helpful to us.
The price will be moderate. For hell we do then too. The price be a bit cheaper, small. Now why I don't come up for market, I can buy for you.
Men, women, children and members of the education community are buying school items and foodstuff at very affordable prices.
We are carrying on a promotional sales of textbooks, exercise books, and product of primary necessities. It is important to the community in the sense that parents buy the school material and product of primary necessity in a very cheap rate. And this will ensure a good back to school.
The Southwest Regional Delegate of Commerce, Dennis Bipana Banda, and his collaborators are in the field to ensure that in both rural and urban areas in the Southwest region, basic commodities and school needs are available and sold at homologated prices. A gesture saluted by the Southwest population who have been going through hardship due to the ongoing security crisis.
And we talk economy, 13 proposals presented by the Cameroon Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Craft to the Directorate General for Taxation today in Douala's economic capital in view of drafting the 2023 finance law to encourage the business climate in Cameroon. The president of the Chamber of Commerce, Christophe Ekeng, emphasized for the proper implementation of the import substitution policy, there is need for fiscal policies that would discourage
the path that leads to the school
boost production in terms of quality and quantity. This was during an exchange between the private sector and the Directorate General for Taxation at the headquarters of the Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Crafts this Friday, September 16, 2022. Let's have a listen of the Director General for Taxation, Modest Mopa-Foteng, and the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Crafts, Christopher King. Let's have a listen.
At the end of my visit, I thought it was important to come here at the Chamber of Commerce to discuss with the Chamber and its members on their concerns about our tax system ahead of the preparation of the next finance law. The consultation with the Chamber of Commerce was fruitful, and I think I've taken good note of their proposals, and we're going to make a good use of all what they have contributed in during this consultation. Thank you.
The thing is to broaden the tax basis with what we say the local content, how to make the transformation of product. What we hope today is to take all those considerations in the financial law of 2023. The majority, if it's possible, will be better for the Chamber of Commerce.
And still in economy, member states of the African Intellectual Property Organization have taken a firm commitment to protect plant varieties in the seed sector in order to improve production and its sustainability. At the two-day workshop that ended this Friday in Douala, Cameroon's economic city, Douala member states signed a document for the development of intellectual property protection of the plant varieties in the Central African sub-region. The details in this report.
Accessibility of high-quality seed is essential to support the livelihood and resilience of farmers and breeders. Agricultural stakeholders in the Semak sub-region are therefore meeting in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, this September 15, 2022, to strengthen the promotion of plant variety in member states of the intellectual property right in a bid to boost agricultural production and sustainability. A document has been signed to that effect.
The goal is basically to sustain our National Agricultural Research Institute to better produce and create new varieties for our farmers. So what we have done this morning is an agreement signed between OAP and the Research Institute here to conduct some studies to be sure that the new varieties can be protected.
This meeting is to appreciate and validate the guidelines for the member states in the objectives of writing strategies that can be useful for the development of the agricultural for the use of the agricultural development sector.
With challenges of climate change, the enhancement of plant varieties is expected to overcome problems of marketing quality seeds in sufficient quantity as well as increase food production.
The way we're making production in those days is no more the same thing. So if we continue to preserve the same plant variety and hoping that we'll go to industrial agriculture, it won't be possible. We need to produce plant variety that adapt to the new environment.
Member states are therefore expected at the end of the workshop to strengthen their technical capacities and draft strategies to reinforce their agricultural sectors.
And 2 weeks into the new academic year, schools listed as clandestine in the littoral region of Cameroon have defied government's decision and have opened their doors for the new school year. Our reporter Morindi visited some of these schools, as precisely at Bois de Senche in the Douala 2 subdivision, and now tells us more.
The path that leads to the school could tell of the ugly and nasty looks inside. conscious of the reaction of the principal and the staff of Victory Comprehensive Bilingual College at Bois de Serge in the Douala 2 Council area, listed among the clandestine schools by the Ministry of Secondary Education, we were obliged to undercover. A completely filthy environment with benches in muddy classrooms and few students on campus. The lone staff sends us away on the pretext the principal is absent and is not allowed to talk. He's conscious they are operating on clandestine basis. The Great International Bilingual School is also among the clandestine schools operating this year in Douala. Its proprietor also snubbed government's ban and went ahead to enroll close to 60 children this academic year. The panic-stricken administrator explains.
The government requires for us to put together some documents which are necessary before they will give you an authorization. So those documents we have put together and we have submitted in the offices that are necessary in Yaoundé, in the Sejuk too. So we are only waiting for the government to give us a go-ahead.
Meantime, some parents have expressed dissatisfaction with clandestine schools that have dared open their doors this year.
Cannot be operating under a badge and you're not registered as a badge. Means you're favor a thief, a crook, and a robber. Because you're stealing the children's money, deceiving the parents and receiving their money, and wasting the children's time. So
the fight against clandestine schools is not new. For decades, many stakeholders have come and gone, with each trying fruitlessly to stamp out the phenomenon.
And in health, the Littoral Regional Delegation of Public Health has called on the population to get tested against COVID-19, as some 138 persons have already been tested positive within the past 6 months. The statistics were made public in Douala by the Littoral Regional Delegation of Public Health yesterday, September 15, 2022, a catalyst campaign against COVID-19 that began in October 2021. Sheriff Asale has more on the story.
138 cas positifs au Covid-19 ont été testés ces 6 derniers mois dans les régions du littoral, ouest et centre sur les 3027 patients enregistrés dans le cadre du projet Catalyser l'action contre le Covid-19. Des données rendues publiques ce jeudi 15 septembre au cours.
Well, we are sorry for that technical hitch. We shall be coming back to that story in our subsequent newscast. And it is with that report that we wrap up this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal the International. The French edition will be yours at 7:50 p.m. With Alain Gislain Kanga. Up next is Debrief, de l'actualité du sport with Marc Chuamo. I will be yours again, same time, Monday, God's willing. Bye-bye.